What is up, guys? Rick Hackers here, and Golgoroth is one of the toughest bosses to beat in the new King's Fall raid. A lot of players are having trouble with this boss. I remember when the King's Fall raid first came out, the top 3 posts on the Bungie forums that day were all complaining about Golgoroth. He was being called the biggest bullet sponge of all time, and frankly, that's warranted. My team calculated his health with the damage it said we did, and Golgoroth has around 13 million health. That's million with an M and an illion. Yes, that is insane. Now, there's a lot of guides to how to actually beat Golgoroth, but the main one that I keep seeing, in fact the only one that I keep seeing, is very complicated. It involves 2 players grabbing his aggro, the rest shifting from orb to orb, getting buffs while still keeping on control of ads. That's all just way too complicated. This is going to be a much simpler method that is going to be not only much easier for you guys to do, but so much easier for you guys to explain to new raid members when running new people through King's Fall. If you find this guide helpful, please remember to help me out by rating and sharing this video. So without further ado, let's get started on this strategy. Now let's break down the mechanics one by one, and first off, let's start with Golgoroth. He's going to spawn after shooting this watery orb in the middle of the map. Now, he has 2 crit spots. One is located on his back, and his little spider arms can open, and then that is available to shoot. Now, his spider arms can close, also closing off that crit. And there is another crit on his stomach. This only opens when you hit the crit on his back. Hitting the crit on his back will actually grab his aggro. His gaze will shift to the person who hit the crit on his back. Once his gaze is on that person, he completely ignores everyone else. You can stand right next to him, he will not do anything. And while his gaze is on you, he'll just look at you and shoot these tracking orbs at you. These orbs can be shot out of the air. The easiest way to deal with Golgoroth having his gaze on you is to just look at him with no cover in between and just shoot all the orbs that he shoots at you. They die in about 1 bullet. They're very easy to kill. Alright, next mechanic is the watery orbs. Now, once Golgoroth has spawned, there's going to be 6 more watery orbs that appear above where he is. Shooting these orbs will splash down and create a pool of reclaimed light. When you're in this pool, you do massive bonus damage. Now, when you initially start the fight, as well as every time someone fails to grab Golgoroth's gaze, there's going to be a wave of enemies that spawn. Firstly, there's going to be a bunch of thralls that spawn in the back of the map and then move upwards on the upper level on either side, and they are followed by acolytes. It's important to understand that once you kill all of these ads, once you kill the thralls and once you kill the acolytes, they do not respawn until, like I've mentioned, someone fails to grab his gaze. With all that said, here's how you kill Golgoroth extremely easily. So let's start at the beginning. You're going to shoot down the watery orb spawning Golgoroth. That's also going to spawn the wave of enemies. Kill these ads as quickly as you can. It's really not hard to kill the thralls, for example, but also the acolytes. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, don't shoot the adepts right away. You want to shoot the acolytes first, because when the adepts explode, they cause the acolytes to have a very powerful, like, ogre-like beam coming out of their head. You simply don't have time for this. Just kill everything. The acolytes, even though they're going to get a much more powerful attack, they still die to a few headshots. They don't increase their health at all. So just destroy all the ads as quickly as possible. Sunbreaker Titans are actually really good for this. They can just go into hammer time mode and just destroy the ads very quickly. You also want to use your rockets for this part, killing ads. Rockets actually don't do that much damage on Golgoroth, so utilize your rockets in taking down like 5 ads at once. Once you've killed all the acolytes on both left and right side, you can now move on to damaging Golgoroth. One person on your team needs to be the designated gaze grabber. He's going to shoot Golgoroth in the back, and then that's going to focus his gaze on that person. The other 5 people are going to be the ones damaging Golgoroth. Now, if you're the gaze grabber, you can actually hit his crit from the front. You can just kind of shoot because it sticks up a little bit in the back. You can kind of hit the tip of it, but that can be a little difficult. You might want to kind of go to the side and hit it. It's a lot easier, and then simply run back to the front of the map so he's facing the team that's going to be damaging him. So again, once all of the adds are dead, the damaging team is going to shoot the front left orb of water. As soon as the orb is destroyed and it creates the pool of reclaimed light down below, the gaze grabber shoots him in the back and grabs his gaze. Again, the gaze grabber needs to make sure that Golgoroth is actually facing the group that's dealing damage, because when his gaze is locked, his stomach will open and expose a new crit which the damaging team is going to shoot at while they're in this pool of reclaimed light. So if you're on the damaging team, you simply wait for the gaze grabber to say, okay, I have his gaze, hop down into the pool of reclaimed light and absolutely go to town on Golgoroth's stomach crit. Sniper rifles and light machine guns are key here. They do a ton of damage. Again, rocket launchers actually don't do that much damage, and since you're all kind of in a clump, you definitely run the risk of accidentally shooting a teammate, which did happen a couple of times for us. But again, sniper rifles are going to be the absolute best for dealing damage. Now the gaze grabber counts down the time and says, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay, get out of there. And once the timer of the gaze reaches 0, everyone jumps out as quickly as possible. This is going to spawn a new wave of enemies, and then you simply kill them, rinse, and repeat. Guys, that's it. That's really all the strategy is. Shoot the orb when it drops, grab his gaze, everyone jumps in the pool of light and goes to town. When the timer's up, everyone jumps out, kills the adds, and does it again. This is much, much simpler than any other method I've seen. Now there is some extra things you should be aware of. When you're down damaging Golgoroth, there are going to be a few cursed thralls that spawn. But since you're not down there for very long, you're only down there for one session of his gaze, there's only going to be about 2 that spawn. So just kind of be aware of them every once in a while. If there's one coming at you, just shoot him and then you should be fine. You might want to have one person in the damaging group kind of, assign 2 thralls. So he looks around for the thralls, kills them if they're there, and if he doesn't really see any, he can go back to damaging Golgoroth. Now the only other thing of note is that when Golgoroth's health goes down to half, Hive will no longer spawn. They are going to be replaced by Taken. So no more Acolytes will spawn. It'll just actually be Taken Thralls. This is both good and bad. The good is they don't spawn in very much numbers at all and come up to the top. So they're very, very easy to kill, and you can be shooting down the orb of water and resetting Golgoroth a lot faster. The downside is that they spawn much more numerously down below, so you probably will have to dedicate a teammate to simply killing the Taken Thralls while the other 4 damage Golgoroth at that point. It really isn't too hard to keep these thralls off you, especially if you utilize your grenade for killing them and then utilize your weapons for killing Golgoroth. Now this method may take a little longer, so you do have to be aware that he does have an enrage counter, but as long as you're on top of killing the adds fast, you will not have a problem with this at all. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and I wish you luck killing Golgoroth. If you want to see Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is on Twitter, and that's going to be linked in the description of this video, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good day.